And we're going to compare between these two and see, is 50 bucks really going to get you as much as 200? So let's have a look. I recently got sent this little guy. This is a Launch C-Reader 5001 code reader. When I got sent this, they asked me to make a video on it, and I thought, well, this could either be the first of many or the first and the last product review that I've ever done of something that was provided to me. Here's the reason why. I already have a Scantool. Now, years ago, I bought this thing. It's an Actron Elite CP9185, and this thing was pretty pricey. I do believe that for the adapter, and I got one other ALDL adapter for an old GM car that we had, I do believe this thing was around 200 bucks, whereas the normal price of the launch model is $49.99, less than $50. It's a quarter of the cost of this thing. So they asked me to make a video of showing how this thing can help you fix your car. Problem is, my truck isn't broken. So I broke my truck. Kind of. I unplugged something. So the Actron, you can see firing up. Let's make sure that you can see what's said on here. So you see this, it's pretty simple in terms of how it looks. Sometimes you have to wait for stuff. It's a little slow, but this thing has been a phenomenal scan tool that I've used for a number of years. Let's see how the launch looks when we plug it in. Alright. Now the first thing you might notice here is that's a whole lot nicer screen. Let's see. That's connecting. Hopefully that's focused. Okay, now what did we say here? Okay. So the function indicator's off, treble codes, readiness completed. So it gives you a little bit nicer look there. The screen is a lot crisper, clearer. And possibly even a little bit more responsive. So let's start the truck and see what happens when we have that code thrown. Let's focus on me. Focus on that. There we go. So, as you can see, we have a pending code already, even though the check engine light is on for the intake air temperature sensor, which is what I unplugged. It'll do plotting. So this is the short-term fuel trim and long-term fuel trim for the bank 1. So you see it charting. The red is the short-term fuel trim and the yellow is the long-term fuel trim. And as you can see, it's not changing. The long-term at least isn't. Short-term is changing as you would expect for fluctuation of the O2 sensor. Now, one big problem that you'll see a lot on these Fords is when a coil pack goes bad. And so what you can do is compare each bank of the O2 sensors, because we had a fit with this. And I couldn't figure out how to do the charting on my Actron, but you can see where this is, how it's charting both of them, and the red and the yellow are both fluctuating about the same amount. Now when we had a bad coil pack, one side would consistently be running higher voltage because it was receiving more fuel through it. Now with this, you can see they're fairly even. They both fluctuate quite a bit. I'm very impressed with this little scan tool. All the buttons feel nice. They have a nice click to them. I turned off the beep because the beep irritates me, but it gives you a lot of information, and for the price, I would honestly say that this thing is as good or quite possibly better than the Actron one that I paid 4 times as much for. So scrolling through all of the data stream, it's a very nice display. It's nice and bright, and right there is why I'm burning up so bad here in this truck. It's 96 degrees outside because it's a little more compact and kind of easier to use, to be honest. The Actron works good for what it is, but this little guy is pretty impressive, especially for the price. 50 bucks. If you need a scan tool, it's hard to go wrong. Thanks for watching.